Hello and a warm welcome to Federal Special Program Capital Beat. Champat Rai, who was forced to step down as the General Secretary of the trust that runs the Ayodhya Ram Temple amid allegations of donation irregularities, has written an open letter saying that Nripendra Misra led temple construction committee cleared all decisions and made appointments for his assistants. He said that Mishra inducted people of his choice into the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Temple Construction Committee. Rai said one of them came to Ayodhya only twice in 6 years, and only suggestions related to security was sought from another. Then Rai said that a third member was regular and always attended meetings with Mishra. He added that meetings were held monthly and sometimes every 15 days. Champat Rai also stressed in that letter that the committee's authority was absolute. He added that not a single task was executed without the committee's approval. If any decision was taken outside, it was not accepted. If something was done, it was removed. Rai said in the letter that has gone viral and triggered fresh debate over the committee's functioning. Now, Rai has maintained that Mishra projected himself as the sole authority on all construction related matters, even as he acknowledged the temple is a reality because of him. Rai credited Mishra with ensuring the temple was inaugurated after its construction began in 2020 amid the COVID pandemic. This is solely the result of Nripendraji's work. This is what Champat Rai has written in his letter. Champat, in fact, also said that Mishra would immediately reach out to the most capable people, bring them to Ayodhya, get issues resolved wherever the construction faced a technical or logistical hurdle. Rai also noted that some scholars and experts contributed in a spirit of service and did not take any remuneration. So the big question is that this open letter, what does it mean? And what we are told is that there is a meeting of the Ram Mandir Trust on 3rd of September where a new CEO is going to be appointed. So does it have link with that? That before the meeting, Champat Rai is wanting to curry favors. Does he want to come back in the as an active member, or is there more as far as the politics between Yogi and Prime Minister Modi is concerned? Because Nipendra Mishra is one of the favorite bureaucrats of Prime Minister Modi. It was Ram Temple Trust was formed under the leadership of the Prime Minister. So it really brings the spotlight back at the Prime Minister's doorsteps. So is Champat Rai working at the instigation of Yogi? That's also something which people are discussing. So, what are the probabilities? What is this curious case of this open letter written by Champat Rai? Why did he choose a timing like this? Is also beyond anyone's comprehension. Joining me this evening is Shaira Naeem, senior journalist and political commentator, joins us from Lucknow. Thank you so much for joining. We have Siddharth Sharma, independent media analyst. Thank you so much, Siddharth, for joining. And I hope to be joined by Sharat Pradhan, a veteran journalist and author also from Lucknow. He might be joining us in just a short while back. But let me begin with Shaira. What do you think? Why Champat Rai has chosen to write an open letter right now?
Well, Nilu, it's a very curious kind of letter which comes at a very significant time, just on the eve of a major meeting where for the first time a CEO would be appointed. I see this as when Champat Rai resigned and went, it looked as if he accepted the whole thing very easily, but it's not the case. It's not going to. There's a lot of it's going to be far more messy than that. This is a shadow boxing kind of a thing between the PMO and Yogi. We know that Yogi has been kept out of the trust, and he tried very hard to manipulate things behind, from his strategic position as the chief minister of UP. In this case, the SIT, which had been appointed by Yogi, gave Champat Rai a clean chit. And Champat Rai and the other gentlemen, they resigned on their own without any mud sticking to them. They were not even sent to, there was no FIR against them. It was as if they didn't do anything. While everything, the land deals and everything was done in Champat Rai's signature, and it can't be that he was not involved in all that. But right now, this is more like a shadow boxing between the PM's favorite bureaucrat and Champat Rai. So right now, it's the letter is actually mixed. It praises him also, and then it says that the buck always was stopping at his table. So I am not kind of to take the blame. So between the lines, when you read it, it appears as if the decisions were being taken by Mishra, and now why is he being kind of blamed? And this is a way to prove his innocence and probably work his way back to the trust. Right now, this is all I can see. Yes,
All
Neil.
right. Sharad Pradhan also joins
Yeah,
us, veteran journalist and author. Thank you so much,
I'm
Sharadji, for
sorry for
coming
Hello.
in.
getting late. There was some problem
No,
with
no,
my net. Uh,
no, no. I was just wanting to understand why Champat Rai wrote a letter like this, and it's beyond anyone's comprehension. But talking about the political undercurrents, what would one say? Now, look at what Pavan Khera has written. When reports of Chandachori first surfaced, Nripendra Mishra called it a stain of the temple trust. Now, Champat Rai has turned around and held Nripendra Mishra squarely responsible for how the Ram Mandir construction was handled. It may look like a war of words between two men, but there is more to it than meets the eye. Nripendra Mishra is Modi's man, Champat Rai is an RSS man. So this isn't Rai versus Mishra. It is Modi versus Mohan, both desperately trying to wash their hands of the scandal. So does it go to show, Sharaji, that there is something wrong between Prime Minister Modi and the RSS? Are there frictions as far as the Ram Temple theft is concerned? How do we read that?
well, Nilu, I think from day one, it has been very evident that all of them were focused on defending the crooks, the looters, the thieves, the dacoits. Whether Nripen Mishra, if you remember, on day one, he went on record to say, I have nothing, no knowledge about this because I was heading the construction committee. Then 2 days later, he said, I can vouch for Champat Rai, not anybody else. Even before the SIT has started investigating, Nipen Mishra gave Champat Rai a clean chit. That is why I find it very strange that Champat Rai should be. Initially, when I thought that Champat Rai is trying to uh, pass the buck on Nipen Mishra, which is not the case. The 9-page letter, I think most of it is in defense of Nipen Mishra. So I think there is some collusion between all of them. And Nripen Mishra certainly has been the Prime Minister's man there. And he acts according to what the Prime Minister wants. So obviously he's getting, the moment he is gets certain a word from the PM, not PMO. See, he shoots up. And then he changes tack. In this case, because everybody knows how neck deep, I think they were all neck deep into this whole racket. Nripen Mishra was a different man until he was the principal secretary to Prime Minister. I've seen him because he's UP Cadre IS officer of 1967 batch, and I've been watching him working here for a long time, and always rated him as an upright, straightforward officer. But that was Nripen Mishra. Today's Nripen Mishra is not that Nripen Mishra because he appears to be terribly compromised once he got his son a BJP ticket to contest the Lok Sabha election, which he
But if
lost.
you
But
no,
then he
Sharaji,
became
if
an
you look at
MLC. Huh, sorry?
Sharaji, if you look at the contents of the letter, it's a 9-page letter which Champat Rai
I've
has
read that.
written,
I've read
and
that.
he also praises Nripendra Mishra. So, what is he trying to do? Is he trying to curry favors, or is he trying to show that look, the responsibility is that of Nripendra Mishra and vis-a-vis Prime Minister? Is he trying to indicate that?
I to some because at the moment, and Champat Rai's task, I think, is to protect the RSS because he, of
Okay.
course, he was not there. He was there as a RSS representative, but it was not without the express consent of the Prime Minister. Because in this case, the entire trust was formed after the vetting was done by Prime Minister himself. But it was a very funny structure. On one hand, they say it's not a government, it's a private trust. And on the other, the government of India is deciding how to appoint a CEO because this is being talked about. My suspicion is that the way Champat Mishra is being pampered, as was always pampered, and the way Champat Mishra has now written, Champat Rai has now written
Champat Rai.
sort of this letter, there is reason to, one is to project that what a good, great man he is. He is the guy who's telling you what all he has done. And in the
No, but
bargain, he is also praised.
Sharaji, is this piece of grapevine which is floating in the corridors of power that Champat Rai and Yogi have come together now to corner Nripendra Mishra and Prime Minister Modi or the PMO? As far as this Ram Temple Trust is concerned, there are lots of murmurs regarding that. I want to confirm from you that do you also sense this kind of a changing political dynamics?
I wouldn't rule it out because Yogi Adityanath is as desperate to retain power and to rise higher as Modi, and he becomes the biggest obstacle in the path of Amit Shah. That's the reason Modi, Amit Shah do not get along with at all. But considering the fact that Yogi has never been an RSS man, he doesn't have an RSS background or a BJP background. Yet at the same time, when there is this established conflict between Yogi and between Modi and Bhagwat, I would agree with what you are saying. This maybe sound like a conspiracy theory, but it could be because they want to, at the moment they have to pass the buck to somebody else. I have reason to believe that all of them, top and downwards, everybody has been getting a share out of the booty because they used this temple first. They used this temple politically, but when it didn't work in the Lok Sabha election, they knew that it was a futile exercise to expect Ram to be doing anything for them. So they found it very convenient to squander away whatever money they could. And money in politics, and it is not an ordinary sum. Mind you, this guy who the whistleblower of this loot, Mahipal Singh, I spoke to him 4 days back, and he said that the first time I stopped these guys from taking the money because I suspected that they are carrying what they show is much lower than what they are carrying to the bank. So that day he stopped them and he said, though they said so much money is there, which was written on the kagas. So he said, no, check. Well, let me check. He checked. There was 5 lakh rupees extra. This is a 1 day's collection. So if you just imagine, Nilu, if 5 lakhs is otherwise sounds a small amount, but if it is happening every day, it must be happening every day. It can't be they did it for 4 days and then they became sadhu and saints. Inana, we will not indulge in chori. Chori, when you succeed with chori, you do more chori. So which is what they were doing. So if you go at the rate of 5 lakh rupees a day, and the period is 5 years, 365 multiplied into five, it will run into hundreds of crores.
No, but Charity, does this open letter also have some connection with the Ram Temple Trust meeting, which is going to take place on 3rd of September, where the new CEO is going to be appointed?
That is
Does it
precisely what
have?
I wanted to say. Because
Yeah.
I suspect, from whatever information has been given out in public domain, there were 5,000 plus applications for the CEO's job. Lot of retired bureaucrats, retired police officers, retired academicians, whatnot, for retired Fauji's. They had applied for this job. And God alone knows how the shortlisting has been done. But fact remains that dear Champat Rai, the great Champat Rai, happens to be among the shortlisted 19 persons, which arouses the suspicion that Champat Rai is now angling for that job, and all of them together, they want him to be there, get the CEO's job, so that as it is, they've been trying to prove that his record is unblemished and whatnot. And secondly, that is the only way to keep the curtain fully covered over the scandal, this huge scandal. and that saves the PMO also, and that saves RSS also. And because this man, he is brought this out in public domain. See how much, what a great man. That's why I said he is trying to impress upon everyone that he is the guy who has done so much for the temple, other than the loot. So, and or nobody talks about the loot. Mohan Bhagwat hasn't uttered a word about the loot. Nripendra Mishra once said, "Ki chori nahi dakati hai." And then then he says the next day, he says, "Oh, Champat Rai is the only person I can vouch for." So, what Shahira said a little while ago, ye mili bhagat hai sabki. And nobody is interested in Ram. This is only a farce, complete farce. They are interested in exploiting Ram for their personal gains, for their political gains. That's all.
Right. All right, let me come to Siddharth. Okay, before I come to Siddharth, let's play out this bite of Nripendra Mishra, and this is of last evening's when he
Acha,
was
we
asked
must
about
hear
this
that.
open letter. Yeah, so let's play out this bite, please. Varni, can you amplify the audio, please?
जवाब दूंगा कि ये आप लोगों की मनगढ़ंत गाथा,
आप मनचाही कंपनियों को शामिल किए हैं, मनचाहे लोगों की नियुक्ति किए हैं, वो सारा ठिकरा आप पर फोड़ रहे हैं, ऐसा कुछ क्या चाहिए?
मैंने ऐसा कोई पत्र देखा नहीं है, और जब तक मैं पत्र को देखूं नहीं तब तक मैं केवल यह आपको जवाब दूंगा कि ये आप लोगों की मनगढ़ंत गाथा होगी। शायद इस प्रकार का कोई पत्र और कोई इस प्रकार की आलोचना 9 पन्ने का भी होगा तो उसमें उन्होंने इस प्रकार की कोई आलोचना नहीं की होगी। और ये केवल आप लोग जो हैं वो मनगढ़ंत चाहते हैं कि हर जगह पे आप विवाद पैदा करना चाहते हैं। आप विवाद करने के लिए इस प्रकार का मेरे सामने प्रस्तुतिकरण कर रहे हैं।
So that's like the typical stand which BJP takes of denying that the problem exists and the controversy exists. He's totally denying that. He says, no, he can't be criticizing. Siddharth, coming to you now.
It seems that, Needu, I'm sorry to interrupt, but from Nripendra Mishra's statement, it appears that probably the letter he's the guy who must have vetted that letter. Because he's so confident about the fact that this guy couldn't have written anything, he couldn't have criticized me.
Right.
My God, it's a big racket.
Right. Okay. So, Siddharth, what would you say about this curious case of the open letter of Champat Rai? And I'm more interested in learning from you about the changing political dynamics between Lucknow, between New Delhi, between Modi's office and Yogi's office as well. I'm sure Yogi is very keenly watching all this. And it's hard to believe that he has no role to play in this.
Yeah, I think basically what we are watching right now, what we are witnessing is a Chanda Chori is now a real, both in people's mind share, people's minds, as well as in reality as far as money is concerned, because SIT is there. Today, tomorrow, or day after tomorrow, some court will come up with some kind of verdict. The point here is that now BJP wants a fall guy. And that fall guy Rai is now saying, if you make me a fall guy, I'll make others also sink too. And that's what the defensive Mr. Nripendra Mishra, you can see right now, that a letter which everyone is discussing, you and me, channels are discussing, and he's saying, I don't even know that letter exists. How can, that's an oxymoron. That's an oxymoron. That shows
Absolutely.
ostrich approach. It's a totally defensive stand that BJP is taking. And I think what BJP is facing now is less of politics and more of nature. Rule of nature is that once an entity becomes a monolith, its own gargantuan weight, it brings it down, because this huge behemoth sucks more out of the surroundings than what it gives away. And dinosaurs and cockroaches lived together during the Jurassic Age. But when dinosaurs became too big for the earth, global warming struck and dinosaurs perished while the cockroaches live even today. Since 1991, please understand, this is a very clear-cut chronology I'm saying. You can search it on the internet and get to know. Since 1991, when VHP first formed Overseas Friends of BJP in USA, then 1 year later in 1992, when they had that Mandir movement, to 1996, when Vajpayee became the first government, to Modi getting full majority in 2019, BJP kept growing. Its ecosystem also kept growing. But in the last few years, what has happened is that because of the power centralization with Mr. Modi, what has happened is that the entire system, BJP has become kind of a cannibal, hurting its own. Be it Notbandi, who were hurt, weren't BJP voters hurt in Notbandi? Yes. Lockdown, weren't BJP voters hurt in lockdown? Yes. Black farm laws, aren't farmers voting for BJP? Yes. Arrest of co-politicians. There is a simple rule that you don't arrest, even if there is an opponent, you don't arrest people. For example, in cricket, you can bounce somebody out, but you cannot give another team Jamal Gota in the night so that they don't come to the match in the morning. You don't do that. Everyone knows that. But BJP went ahead and went, even your co-politicians had started putting under in jail. Now, from latest one was SIR. So every act of BJP has been cannibalism, and what happens in cannibalism is that it starts hurting your own ecosystem. So I think what has happened in the last few weeks is that the cockroaches just pushed BJP off its pedestal. वो 56 inch का share was too heavy for a very small stool it was sitting on. That broke down. Basically, what you are seeing is implosion of BJP right now, and this will go on. This will keep on going on. It will not just remain till here. It will keep
Yeah.
on growing on. It's yeah.
All right. Let me come back to Sharaji. Sharaji, do you think that all this is going to? What are you expecting on 3rd of September when this Ram Temple Trust meets? What will really happen, and can it really improve the prospects of BJP for the forthcoming elections? I'm sure they will be doing this some sort of a damage control so that they can save the situation. But what will it unfold like as far as the 3rd of September meeting is concerned?
Well, what seems right from the beginning, they've been trying to take your attention away from this issue, which they tried and proved futile. Because you see the way the Vande Mataram issue was raised, so that people get diverted. Their whole strategy always, when they cannot defend, then divert. This is what they do. And even now, they tried to give it the Jantar Mantar thing, Hindu Muslim color. They didn't succeed. They tried to bring it up, add a Pakistan tag to it. They didn't succeed. But these are the kind of people who are incorrigible. They don't even learn from their own failures. The old saying now, the wise learn from the experience of others and fools from their own. But they don't even learn from their own experience. So I have reason to believe that they will continue to play some game, which I cannot predict, or you and I cannot say what game, but they will try to vitiate this whole atmosphere by bringing in something, by dragging whatever they can. Sam Dam Danbhed is their only strategy that they believe in. So be prepared for something to happen, which can they can when they can create Pulwama and whatnot, Pahalgam, when that can be engineered, these people, because their objective is only to save their, because if in public domain this sets in, it is already set in among a large chunk of their so-called anbhaks, that there is some garble in the temple. That
Right.
much, even the anbhaks have started believing, yes, there is some mischief, because after all, and who is there in
Right.
charge of the temple? They themselves. So, and the manner in which, Champat Rai driver, that Tinnu, he was stated to be so powerful. When the prime minister came there, he was the guy who had the authority to allow people in and out. He, imagine the kind of power he wielded, and he is alleged to have had all kinds of controversial relations with Champat Rai, and that was his strength. And from a driver, he rose to such the kind of wealth he made is unimaginable. So Anil Mishra, who's been completely, as if the SIT report didn't even mention his name. In any case, the law says when one SIT is, first of all, let me tell you, SITs are invariably, that's my own experience. SITs are created invariably only to prepare a tailor-made report. And the idea is behind that is to either save one or fix someone, to pass the buck to somebody else and save, which is what Yogi Adityanath did in the truth. But because Delhi felt that Yogi Adityanath could, his tailor-made report could fix their people. So that's the reason something was done whereby Supreme Court stepped in and ordered a formation of another SEI. But under the law, when a second SIT is formed, the first loses its existence. It's automatically they're setting that because they can't be like if there is a
Right,
criminal case, one FIR doesn't supersedes the other, it can't
right,
supplement here.
right.
So this
All
there is
right.
some mischief behind this, and so the second SIT, that's why this report has given a clean sheet to. But mind you, Champat Rai ought to be the kingpin because everybody is trying to save him, except
Right.
Yogi, because at that point of time, Yogi didn't want the guy to get. But subsequently, there's something has happened because there is so much khichatani between
Right.
Yogi and Modi and Shah
Right.
and Mohan
So
Bhagat.
what?
What role he plays, God
Right.
alone knows.
Right, and coming to Shairaji for the concluding comments. So, where does it leave the situation as far as the Ram Temple Trust is concerned? It definitely brings back the spotlight to the Prime Minister's office, where Nripendra Misra is questioned, he's scrutinized, and back on the Lucknow turf, I'm sure Yogi is also keenly watching. So again, coming back to that question, which where the murmurs are very strong, that who knows that Champat Rai and Yogi have come together to corner Prime Minister Modi. Yes,
Whatever,
Shairaji.
whatever you may say, the big players, Champat Rai, Nripen, Misra, all the big players, right now they are without any blemish. They are only exchanging words and letters and all that. But uh, they are not involved. There's no criminal uh, uh, case against them. So it's a very strange kind of thing. The whole focus of the criminal part of the thing is on the players who are relatively small. They may have grown in stature, but obviously they were not operating on their own. They were definitely operating under the leaders of this committee, whether the construction committee or Champat Rai. And so it's very difficult to imagine how these guys are above board, and those who are working under them are responsible for everything. So that is one thing which is very strange and very difficult to believe. And the other thing, the politics of this is also very the dynamics are changing. It's changing every time. So the very fact that it was brought up in during the parliament session, the opposition kept it alive, is even more reason for the central government, for the prime minister, to have this resolved in some manner, bring in some kind of a CEO who would be above board and should would be projected as a fix all guy, something like that. And Champat Rai is also trying to get back. And it's very difficult to say, but all I can say is, right, this is a matter which is very crucial for the BJP, and it's very important for them to resolve it before they enter the UP elections. So it would be, we'll have to wait in the next couple of days to fully understand what was the meaning of this letter and the meaning of Nripen Mishra's reaction. It's still very difficult to say why this has
Right,
this kind of response. So we'll have to wait and see what is the real game behind it. But there
right,
is
Right.
definitely some game. It's not what appears to be on the
right.
face of it.
Yes,
Very true.
absolutely. It does look like that. And we'll have to wait and watch what happens on 3rd of September when the Ram Temple Trust will be meeting and appointing its first CEO. We'll have to end it here. Thank you so much, Sharaji, for joining. Shairaji, thank you very much for joining.
Thanks.
Thank you.